The day my childhood sweetheart came to propose marriage, my foolish cousin from out of town, amidst tears and sniffles, released the betrothal goose. "You're so cruel, it's just wrong to keep the goose locked up in a cage." She opened her innocent, wide eyes, her face filled with indignation, but when her childhood sweetheart arrived, she threw her arms around his and burst into tears. "That woman is so mean, she's a bad woman. Brother, don't marry her. Didn't I tell you that the goose would be released after the betrothal gift was completed? Why did you release it ahead of time?" I restrained my anger and asked sharply. The girl showed no sign of guilt for having done anything wrong, and replied confidently, "Anyway, aren't we going to release it eventually? What difference does it make if it's sooner or later? That's the token of our engagement. What will our girl use for the 6 rituals if you let it go?" The maid Ayu was somewhat exasperated. Unexpectedly, the little girl curled her lips and rolled her eyes. My brother said, "I will be the esteemed and precious Miss Biao of the Marquis's mansion from now on. What right do you, a lowly servant, have to speak to me like that?" But then her childhood sweetheart arrived. She rushed forward, clutching his arm, and burst into tears, feeling wronged. "Brother, I want to go home. What's going on? Who made our little Neo unhappy?" Lu Sui looked helplessly at the patch of wetness on his clothes, feeling both annoyed and amused. "That sister is unhappy, she's scary." Following the little girl's finger, Lu Sui finally noticed my ugly expression. He subconsciously pushed away the girl in his arms. "Amiao, what's wrong? This cousin has let go of the betrothal gift goose that you went through so much trouble to get for our young lady." The maid, Ayu, couldn't help but complain. Lu Sui turned his head in astonishment. Meeting the little girl's watery, innocent eyes, he sighed helplessly. "Those were betrothal gifts for your future sister-in-law. Why did you release them? The wild goose is crying. It's like a wisp of smoke, without a home. It's so sad." The little girl's tears fell like beads from a broken string. The feigned anger on Lu Sui's face instantly dissipated, and he softened his tone, coaxing her in a low voice. "Looked at me again, her eyes full of apology. Meow. The doctor said her mind is equivalent to that of a 5 or 6-year-old child. Don't hold it against her. After all, she became like this to save me." The courtyard was piled high with betrothal gifts. The little girl clutched the sleeve of his brightly colored robe tightly in her hand, clumsily raising her hand to apologize to me. "Okay, meow, don't be angry. I'll make you 2 more wild geese. It's the engagement banquet today." It was an auspicious day jointly determined by the 2 families after several divinations, but it couldn't proceed because the most important betrothal goose was missing. Meow, this is all my fault." Lu Sui was about to get on his horse and hunt 2 more, being hesitantly tugged at by the little girl. Brother, please don't go," looking at me again with a hint of complaint. "It's so dangerous in the mountains. You shouldn't have made my brother suffer just because you were angry." The matchmaker who came with us tried to smooth things over. "It's getting late today, why not finish the ceremony first? We can add the betrothal gifts later." Not wanting to cause too much tension on such a joyous occasion, I nodded slightly. The atmosphere around us warmed up again. Just as everything was proceeding smoothly, an untimely ryeep sound came from nearby, followed by a soft grumble. "What kind of junk is this? Not fun at all." A bad feeling rose. That betrothal letter, sealed with the Emperor's golden seal, which should have been enshrined before the table, had been torn into 2 pieces haphazardly by the little girl, and casually thrown on the ground. The air was so still you could hear a pin drop. "What exactly do you mean?" I was so angry I laughed. I had just raised my hand when I saw the little girl instinctively cover her head. "Don't hit me, sister, don't hit me." The surrounding guests began to murmur among themselves. What's with this reaction from the Miss of the Lu family? Could it be that Miss Lin often hits her behind our backs? This Miss suffered an accident when she was young, and her mind is like that of a child of a few years old. How could she lie? It seems it's true. This Miss Lin really lives up to her reputation as the daughter of a military family, but to treat her fiancé's sister like this is really going too far. Faint glances fell on me, accompanied by whispers. I could hardly bear it any longer, my fingers unconsciously gripping the long whip at my waist. Then I saw Lu Sui hastily push through the crowd and stand in front of me, shielding me. His body was rigid, and his tone was somewhat unnatural. "She's still young and doesn't understand." Meow. "Calm down." Before I could speak again, He turned his head and shouted loudly, "Lu Niao, come over here." He pulled over the little girl with red eyes. "Why did you tear up your future sister-in-law's betrothal letter? Apologize to me." The little girl in his arms struggled fiercely. "I'm not wrong, I won't apologize. She stole you away the moment she came. You don't tie my hair into little bunnies anymore, and you don't play on the swing with me. It's all her fault. She's a bad woman. How dare you talk nonsense? Come here." Lu Sui, exasperated, held her down, but the little girl struggled even more fiercely. Just as the two were pulling back and forth, her sobs gradually weakened at some point. When Lu Sui realized something was wrong, the person in his arms was already crying with a pale face and trembling all over, but she held on to Lu Sui's clothes tightly and wouldn't let go. "I hate her. I won't apologize." Okay, don't apologize then." Lu Sui anxiously tried to pry her hand open, coaxing her. "You're having an episode. Calm your breathing. Listen to me. Don't grip so tightly. Carry her to my bedroom," I spoke blandly. "There are physicians in the manor, or you can have someone take my waist to invite an imperial physician. What does it look like making a scene in the courtyard?" Lu Sui was stunned, finally remembering where he was, glancing at the circle of guests with their varied expressions. She said in a flustered voice, "Meow, I'll explain when I get back." Then, carrying the person, he hurried away. When Lu Neo woke up, only I sat by her bed. "Little girl, are you happy with the mess you've made? Where's my brother?" She ignored me, propping herself up to look around. "Stop looking. Your brother went to shoot wild geese for me." "Impossible, I'm still sick. There's no way my brother would leave me behind." Her tone was assertive and triumphant. "You bad woman. Tell my brother to come see me, or you'll regret it. Are you sick? Don't you know it yourself?" During her coma, the imperial physicians who were summoned repeatedly took her pulse, but couldn't figure out what was wrong. In the end, they only said that it might be due to emotional excitement leading to overwork, causing her to sleep more deeply. Lu Sui breathed a great sigh of relief upon hearing this, and finally remembered the mess he had left behind today. "Amy, I really didn't expect this to happen. Please, give me a chance to redeem myself. This marriage has already been approved by the Emperor. Making such a scene reflects poorly on everyone involved." "I'm unmoved. You still haven't said, what exactly is your relationship with her?" Lu Sui immediately became anxious upon hearing this, nearly swearing to heaven. "I've always taken care of her like a younger sister. There's absolutely no romantic involvement whatsoever, but she suffered mental regression back then to save me. Turning into the way she is now, I can't just abandon her." He held my hand to his cheek, his tone softening again and again. "Meow, ever since you saved me 3 years ago, I have decided that you are the only one for me in this life. You can hit me or punish me if you're angry, but you can't accuse me wrongly." By the end, his voice carried a hint of grievance. The young Marquis, who had always been arrogant and high-spirited in the capital, now softened his voice and groveled. It was impossible not to be moved, thinking of all the past events. I hesitated a little, but I didn't want today's matter to end so hastily, so I said to him, "Then go hunt 2 betrothal geese now, bring them back before dark, and I'll pretend nothing happened today." But Niao is still. He glanced into the room instinctively. "Why, are you afraid I'll hurt your sister?" My expression turned cold. "How could that be? Although my riding skills are not as good as yours, I'm among the best in the military." With a flick of his robe, he mounted the horse gracefully. "Wait for me, I'll catch them for you tonight." Now there's no one else in the mansion, I can finally ask, "Little sister, do you really have an intellectual disability?" Lu Niao's pupils constricted instinctively, then she immediately put on a blank look. "Bad woman. I don't understand what you're saying. I want my brother." She threw off the quilt and ran towards the door, but was immediately surrounded by 7 or 8 sturdy maids. "Little sister, I won't do anything to you. I just want to check your condition." "Why are you running?" I called the mansion's doctor over. "Can you tell if it's true that her mental capacity is only that of a 6-year-old, or if she's faking it?" Of course, mental regression is mostly caused by blood stasis in the brain. A simple pulse diagnosis will reveal the truth. Hearing this, Lu Niao's face finally changed. She frantically pushed the maids in front of her and ran towards the door with all her strength, but collided head-on with someone who had just lifted the curtain to enter the room. Lu Sui hissed in pain. When he saw who it was, his tone held an unconscious tenderness. "What are you doing?" You're running around like a monkey as soon as you're better. Lunyaunyanio fell to the ground, pale as a sheet, and grabbed the hem of his robe. Her voice was shrill. Brother, brother, save me. This lowly woman just tried to. Before she could finish, the maids rushed over and quickly covered her mouth. I pointed at the person writhing desperately on the ground, my voice calm. Lu Sui, your cousin is faking her intellectual disability. Mental symptoms are extremely complex, it's hard to confirm with just a pulse diagnosis. I had told the doctor to say that just to trick her, and Lunyaunyanio's reaction confirmed my guess. I called the doctor to explain, but was suddenly interrupted by Lu Sui's furious roar. That's enough. He angrily threw the maids restraining Lunyaunyanio away. His gaze on me was icy to the bone. Lin Qingmiao, have you made enough trouble? I wanted to say this at the banquet earlier. Why is Nyaunyanio so afraid when she sees you raise your hand? We've known each other for years. I never wanted to think the worst of you, but look at what you're doing now. Ever since I saved Lu Sui on the battlefield 3 years ago, he had always been obedient to me. This was the first time I had seen him so angry. I was stunned on the spot. I knew Lu Sui had a bad temper. He was the only son of the old Marquis Lu, born in his later years, and his aunt was the most favored noble concubine in the palace. He had grown up getting everything he wanted. If he asked for the stars, no one would give him the moon. He paraded through the streets with eagles and horses, and countless noble sons would gather around him at his call. At the mid-autumn banquet that year, he wore white clothes and danced with a sword under the moon. He captured the hearts of countless women in the capital. I had happened to enter the palace with my father to report on my duties, and was lucky enough to witness that stunning scene. As a girl who grew up in the wild northwest, I had never seen such a dandy raised in luxury and indulgence. I was instantly captivated, until I heard his evaluation of me from his friends. You mean Miss Lin from the northwest? She's a rustic bumpkin with a country look, really vulgar. I still prefer innocent and delicate girls. Amidst the loud laughter of the crowd, I left the banquet in embarrassment. My girlish infatuation was shattered into pieces, just when I thought we would never cross paths again. He suddenly grew tired of the prosperity of the capital and secretly slipped to the northwest to join the army. The beacon fires and sandstorms completely shattered the last trace of pride he had as a noble son. I risked my life with a long spear to save him from the enemy's hands. Since then, his attitude towards me has changed drastically. He began to follow me around with a playful smile, desperately defeating everyone just to become my deputy. We had faced life and death countless times, and seen each other at our most embarrassing moments. 3 years later, the Northwest won a great victory. He lost no time in proposing to me. Lu Sui will never marry anyone but Lin Qingmiao in this life. All the noble women in the capital envied me for my ability to tame the eccentric and unrestrained young Marquis Lu. I also indulged in the tender trap he wove. But ever since he returned to his hometown to pay homage to his ancestors and brought back a delicate little girl, everything has been different. Brother, my hand hurts so much. Lunyaunyanio raised her hand aggrievedly, and there was a ferocious wound oozing blood on her arm. It looked like it had been cut by some sharp weapon. I didn't hit her. My voice turned cold. If it wasn't you. Did she cut herself? Lin Qingmiao, you're clearly in the wrong. Why are you still so stubborn and unyielding? I said I didn't do it. That's enough. How long are you going to lie? An unexpected palm strike knocked me to the ground. You hit me. The palm of my hand was scraped by the rough ground, and a dense, dull pain welled up in my heart. I looked up in disbelief. Lu Sui reluctantly withdrew his hand, looking a little remorseful. A meow. I didn't mean to just now. He hurried to help me, but was suddenly hugged by a pair of small white hands around his arm halfway. Brother, Nyaunyanio's hand still hurts so much. Lunyaunyanio pouted, and said thoughtfully, this sister is just in a bad mood because of her menstrual period. Let's let her calm down alone first. Tears glistened in her moist eyes. Nyaunyanio wants to go back to the mansion to apply medicine. Only brother's blowing can make it better. Lu Sui was involuntarily led towards the door by the little girl. Stop, I swung the long whip at my waist. Before we finished talking, I don't think anyone can leave this door. Just then, my close comrades from the Northwest Army happened to enter the mansion carrying geese. Their laughter echoed from afar before they arrived. Little Meow, what did the young Marquis do to make you so angry? We were drinking your engagement wine when he rushed us to the mountains to hunt geese for him. Hunt for him, I raised my voice. Yes, it's not appropriate for us to hunt such important things for him. But he said you were sick and needed someone to take care of you. Little meow, are you feeling unwell anywhere? My eyes shot at the two people beside me like swords. Lu Sui touched his nose awkwardly, about to speak, but my whip had already drawn a sharp arc in the air. Lin Qingmiao, how dare you? He instinctively held Lu Niaonianio in his arms to protect her, and my hand was held in mid-air by the subordinates who rushed over. What's going on? Why are you swinging your whip? Seeing Lu Sui and me confronting each other with swords drawn, they quickly stood between us. Lin Qingmiao, what else can you do besides solving problems with force? Seeing the situation under control, Lu Sui put down his hand awkwardly and shouted angrily. Look at the noble women, none of them are as vulgar and rude as you. Only I don't dislike you and am willing to marry you as my wife. Think about it carefully. After saying the harsh words, he pulled the little girl towards the door, but his back looked guilty no matter how you looked at it. Don't leave, stop him for me. I instinctively ordered my former subordinates, but none of them moved. You couldn't bear to see me sad, and hurried to catch up to stop them. But was kicked flying by the irritable Lu Sui. You lowly maid, bullying Niaonianio is enough, how dare you block this Marquis's way? Lu Niaonianio poked her head out and stuck out her tongue maliciously. Hihi, you deserve it, I helped you up. No longer able to suppress the anger in my chest, the long whip swung with a sharp wind. This time, the people surrounded by my subordinates became me. What do you mean by this? They dodged my gaze, not daring to look me in the eye. Meow, you, don't you know, the young Marquis entered the palace yesterday to ask for rewards. His Majesty has already handed over the military power of the Northwest Army to him. Now, we follow his orders. What? I looked at the people I had been with day and night for 3 years in disbelief. Lu Sui, the reason you were in such a hurry to betroth me was for this. I had blocked a long spear for Lu Sui, and he had also taken a sword wound for me. In the sandstorms beyond the Great Wall, we had made a promise to be together for a lifetime. I thought we loved each other. But after this great victory in the Northwest, everything familiar in the past has turned upside down. Have you been lying to me all these years? Perhaps the shock and pain in my eyes aroused a trace of tenderness in him. Lu Sui softened his tone. Meow, my feelings for you are of course true. But women should stay in the inner courtyard and be peaceful and obedient. You run around fighting and killing all day, what kind of is that? Stop making trouble, I'm doing this for your own good. I couldn't stand his hypocritical and disgusting face anymore. I closed my eyes and said coldly and firmly, where is my father? On the day of the betrothal, he said he couldn't come back because he was busy with military affairs. I thought he was still guarding the Northwest. My subordinates hesitated and stumbled over their words. Old General, he refused to obey the imperial edict and has been temporarily detained. If it weren't for your betrothal to our Marquis's mansion, your father would have been thrown into prison long ago. Lu Sui's tone carried a vague threat. Lin Qingmiao, look clearly, now you can't do without our Marquis's mansion. You, anger surged in my chest, and I raised my hand high, about to slap his hateful face. Hit me. Go ahead and hit me here. He also got angry. Why won't you listen no matter how I explain? If you dare to hit me today, your stubborn and unruly father will be thrown into prison tomorrow. My hand trembled violently in mid-air. I endured, and finally did not strike. But the impact of this short half-day was too great. Just as I was about to lose my balance, Lu Niaonianio, who had been lying in Lu Sui's arms pretending to be unconscious, woke up pretendingly. As if she had just seen my raised hand, she exclaimed, "Bad woman, don't bully my brother." Then she slapped me hard across the face, fast and accurate. There was a roar in my head, and my vision blurred for a moment. I had no mother since I was a child. My father raised me like a treasure, since I was born. No one had ever hit me. I was stunned on the spot. When my vision gradually cleared, I subconsciously looked up at Lu Sui. A flicker of shock and concern crossed his eyes. And he took a step toward me, but a delicate, boneless little hand tightly embraced his waist. That mean older sister is going to hit big brother. She's so scary. She raised her innocent and charming little face, as if seeking praise. Neo said she would protect her big brother. Big brother, I'm awesome, right? The cold, hard lines of Lu Sui's mouth finally softened into a distinct smile. Neo is really amazing. Just remember, my sister is my fiancée. So don't you dare lay a hand on her again." Then he turned around to smooth things over. "All right, Amy-ow, Neo was just trying to protect me. She's still a child, don't hold it against her." "I don't." I wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth. "Get away, I'll fight back myself." "What are you saying?" Lu Sui lost his patience again. "Lin Qingmiao, I've already shot the goose you wanted. I let go of what happened with you bullying Neo earlier, so why are you still being so petty? If you still want the wedding banquet next month to proceed as planned, don't push your luck. Girl, what are we going to do? Has the general really been arrested? You had a broken rib from the kick and couldn't rest properly in bed." She was looking at me with anxiety and worry. "Okay, are you? Don't worry." I held her hand with heartache, having calmed down from my earlier anger. My father has been in the military for many years, and the reputation he has built is not something Lu Sui can compare to. This matter should not have been decided. It was just the concubine Lu who whispered in his ear. I gently brushed the bandaged area, my voice firm. "Trust me, the injuries you've suffered today, I will definitely get them back for you. Doubled, Miss Ku. You and young Marquis Lu have had such a long-standing relationship. You noticed the sadness in my eyes. I suppressed the bitterness in my heart and forced a smile. Romantic feelings are naturally about coming together when compatible and parting when not. We girls raised in the Northwest have always been able to take things in stride and let go when needed." Lu Sui probably knew he was in the wrong that day, but unable to swallow his pride and apologized to me. He sent gifts every day to cheer me up. Usually when he did this, it was a signal of his awkward weakness. Those gifts often represented the words he didn't say. I was wrong, don't be angry anymore, but I no longer had the heart to be understanding and considerate of him. For 3 consecutive days, I refused to let him in. On the 4th day, he finally became enraged out of humiliation, got drunk, and brought a group of cronies to block the gates of the Lin residence. "Lin Qingmiao, come out. You come out. Why won't you see me? Do you not want me anymore?" He leaned against the door, drunk and incoherent. I was dressed in a moon-white dress, with floral appliques on my forehead, and my hair was styled in an elaborate flowing cloud bun. I unexpectedly opened the door. Lu Sui fell to the ground and raised his head in anger, about to explode, but he had never seen me in this attire before, and was momentarily stunned in place. His cronies were also full of surprise. "Asui. You little rascal, you actually lied to us. Your fiancé is nothing like the vulgar person you described. Where exactly is Miss Lin plain-looking or unattractive? Are you blind? Is that how you talk about me behind my back?" I stared at him coldly. "No, I didn't. I was drunk and just talking nonsense." He stammered. "So you get drunk and feel free to comment on your fiancé's appearance to outsiders? Lu Sui, do you think they're laughing at me? They're clearly looking down on you." After seeing the depravity that was rotten to the core in the person before me, I had no desire to say anything more. I pushed him aside and started to walk out, caught by Lu Sui, who hesitated and fumbled, grabbing the sleeve of his robe. Amy, where are you going? Go call off the engagement. Break off the engagement. How dare you?" A cold sweat broke out on him, and he sobered up from the alcohol by more than half. "I forbid it." "What annulment? What gives you the right to annul the engagement, just because of the misunderstanding a few days ago? Lin Qingmiao, what about all these years of feelings between us? Too bad for me. Just get lost." I pushed him away impatiently. Unexpectedly, he was unsteady from the alcohol and, caught off guard, fell to the ground. He immediately flew into a rage. "Lin Qingmiao, you slut, dressed up like that. Do you have another man outside?" I was about to get on the carriage, but I heard these words and stepped back. Grabbing his collar, she gave him 2 hard slaps, causing blood to trickle from the corner of his mouth. "Have you sobered up from the drink? If you're sober, go find your niao. Don't act crazy here." After finishing, she didn't look at him again and quickly boarded the carriage. She finally made it to the Queen Mother's birthday banquet. By the side of the Tay pool, wine cups clinked and glasses crossed. I found an opening and quietly slipped the object in my hand into Lady Liu's hands. "What are you doing, Miss Lin?" The Lin family had never had any prior connection with her, yet she had been at odds with imperial concubine Lu for years. "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." I opened the letter in my hand, pointing to the disrespectful words written by Lu Sui in his frustration and indignation, my tone sincere. Consort Lu is newly pregnant. Yet she can't wait to interfere with the military power in the northwest, and the young Marquis Lu seems to have rebellious intentions. Qingmiao is truly terrified, and begs Consort Liu to discern the truth. Did you come for your father? Her pale, jade-like fingers picked up the letter, and she smiled, covering her lips with her hand. It's also a sign of filial piety. I'll help with this matter. Hearing those words, the heavy stone in my heart finally lifted, returning to my seat. It just so happened that the gift-giving segment of the banquet had begun. Gifts carefully prepared by the young ladies of the capital flowed in like water. Nearly reaching my turn, my eyelid twitched heavily. Then I saw Lu Neo, at the end of the banquet, staring at me. A slow, ill-intentioned smile spread across her face. Carrying the gift box, Ayu walked slowly, passing by Lu Niao. She unexpectedly stuck out her leg, and Ayu, caught off guard, stumbled and fell to the ground. The gift box in her hand fell and shattered, making a crisp sound. Lu Niao feigned innocence and covered her lips, giggling. This wretched maid is truly careless. Breaking the gift meant for the Empress is a grave offense. What a pity for your mistress, she'll be dragged down by your foolishness. What lady's birthday gift is this? The senior palace maid beside the Empress spoke with a cold tone. Reporting to you, Empress, it is mine, Sister Lin. What you gifted wouldn't be porcelain. Would it? For porcelain to break at a birthday banquet is an ominous sign. Neo doesn't understand. Will I be punished for this? The entire room fell silent. Only Lu Neo's clear voice could be heard. The Queen's expression grew dark. The gift I've prepared can only reveal its true nature when broken. I calmly stepped forward and opened the box. With a strange fragrance, countless butterflies flew toward me, colorful and spectacular. The scene was truly breathtaking. This is. Please take a look, Your Highness. I gently clapped my hands, and butterflies from all over the garden settled onto the flowers. Flapping their wings, they gradually formed a large character show. Longevity. Oh my God, how was this done? How beautiful. This is an auspicious sign, Empress. The concubines and ladies were so captivated by the scene that they showered it with praise. The Empress also slowly smiled. Good, Miss Lin's gift takes the lead, and thus deserves a reward. I shall grant you one wish. When you have thought it through, you may come to claim it at any time. Thank you, Your Highness. I slowly stepped back, and concubine Liu beside me spoke up at the right moment. Your Majesty has always been fair in rewards and punishments. Shouldn't the person who deliberately ruined Your Majesty's birthday banquet be punished? As she spoke, she glanced at Lu Niao, whose face had turned pale. I personally witnessed this little girl, whoever she is, deliberately trip Miss Lin's maid. It wasn't me. Niao didn't do it. You're framing me. Lu Niao had never seen such a scene before and panicked instantly. Instinctively, she resorted to her usual tactic of throwing a tantrum, crying uncontrollably and acting unreasonably. Presumptuous, how dare she behave so rudely in the palace? Before her wails could echo, a palace matron silenced her with a quick, sharp slap. A bright red handprint appeared on her pale cheek. Enraged, Lu Niao pushed the matron aside and pounced at me, clawing and screaming. You lowly woman, you framed me on purpose. Brother, I want you to kill her. Drag her away at once. The Empress had completely lost her patience. Palace maids and eunuchs swarmed forward to restrain the flailing Lu Niao. Just as the scene descended into chaos, Lu Sui, reeking of alcohol and still in his travel-stained clothes, hurried over. Don't touch her. Everyone stop. Your Majesty, this is a young lady from the Lu mansion. She's still young and ignorant. Please forgive her rudeness. Concubine Lu was at the height of her power in the palace, and even the Empress had to avoid her wrath. Lu Sui bowed casually, his attitude lacking respect. He carefully lifted the sobbing Lu Niao, comforting her in a low voice. Then he turned his gaze to me, filled with hatred. Lin Qingmiao, you poisonous woman, at such a grand palace banquet, as her sister-in-law, you should have protected her. Niao only offended you slightly. Did you really have to kill her? Ignoring him, I stood up and bowed gracefully. Your Majesty, the wish you spoke of earlier, I wish to fulfill it now. Please grant me permission to terminate my engagement with young Marquis Lu. From now on, we shall go our separate ways, and marry whomever we choose. What? I refuse. Lu Sui's face changed drastically. Please issue your imperial edict, Your Majesty. I insisted on kneeling, refusing to rise. Very well, I grant your request. The bright yellow imperial edict was soon stamped with the Empress's seal. With the matter settled, I let out a sigh of relief. Lu Sui laughed angrily. Lin Qingmiao, don't regret this. Today you end our engagement, tomorrow, even if you throw yourself at me naked, I will never marry you. Lu Sui booked the most famous courtesan at Spring Breeze Pavilion. He abandoned the military camp and his home, getting dead drunk every day. His father, Marquis Lu, flew into a rage and whipped him severely, but after recovering from his injuries, Lu Sui resumed his debauchery. Unable to bear seeing him so dispirited, his friends came to intercede on his behalf. The Empress only terminated the engagement, she didn't say you couldn't reaffirm it. Why don't you two reconcile privately? Yes, we've never seen a Sui so heartbroken. He truly loves you, Miss Lin. Stop quarreling with him. I neither agreed nor refused, and sent them all away. Lu Sui's heartbreak might have been real, and his love for me might have been genuine too, but his love was always wrapped in the sharpness of words, filled with suspicion and distrust. He had pushed me aside for Lu Niaonianio, and disregarded my feelings entirely for the military power in the northwest. Even his sorrow and drunkenness stemmed from the shock that I had actually abandoned him. He always put his own feelings first. Rather than loving me, he loved himself most of all. What about Lu Niaonianio? Doesn't the young Marquis like her? Yu looked confused. Perhaps he does, but her tricks are clumsy. Lu Sui must have seen through them. I had only realized recently that men sometimes play dumb simply because they enjoy the attention, and Lu Sui thoroughly enjoyed watching the little girl make a fool of herself, vying for his affection. Speak of the devil, seeing that I refused to back down, Lu Sui changed his tactics. He and Lu Niaonianio openly hugged and pestered each other on the path I took home every day. As if no one else was around, I walked past without glancing at them, but heard his furious voice behind me. Stop, can't you see someone's here? Lin Qingmiao, now that we're no longer engaged, you won't even greet me. I had just received news from concubine Liu that my father had been reinstated to his official position, and was in a good mood, so I turned around with a smile. You're smiling. Does this mean you've come around? He instinctively pushed Lu Niaonianio's hand away, his tone filled with joy. Then, as if remembering something, he raised his chin and snorted. You humiliated me by ending our engagement. I won't let this go easily. My birthday banquet is tomorrow. We'll see how you behave. Miss, should we go? We'll go. Over the years, Lu Sui had given me many gifts. I asked Yu to gather them all. I planned to return them to him publicly at the birthday banquet, and along with them, I would give him a grand gift. On that day, Lu Niaonianio, whom I hadn't seen in days, waited at the mansion gate early in the morning. When she saw me, she sneered. Lin Qingmiao, I knew you couldn't bear to leave Brother Sui. As soon as you heard about his birthday banquet, you came running. Even a dog has shame. You're truly shameless. I pulled my cloak tighter around me. At the palace, I was so busy slapping Lu Sui that I forgot about you. I raised my hand to the guards behind me. Tie her up. Lu Sui's birthday banquet was extremely luxurious. When I found him at the waterside pavilion by the lake, I just heard his friends reporting to him. Miss Lin has arrived with a large trunk of gifts. Lu Sui, you're such a lucky man. She really came. Lu Sui sat up straight instinctively, his eyes darting repeatedly toward the door. Of course, Miss Lin acts cold on the surface, but she still cares about you. Bringing so many gifts today, she must be here to apologize. Lu Sui coughed, pretending not to care. Actually, her presence alone is enough. She didn't need to bring any gifts. After all, we've been through so much. I don't care about these trivial things. Despite his words, his eyes clearly showed anticipation. His friends teased, if you don't care, we'll take them. Get lost. He pretended to be angry, but his tone was playful. But when I actually appeared, he deliberately turned his head away, looking extremely impatient. What are you doing here? Seeing the tension, his friends quickly tried to smooth things over. Miss Lin is here to give you a gift. How can you talk to her like that? Yes, a Sui. Hurry up and open it. Reluctantly, he opened the trunk and snorted. Lin Qingmiao, don't think this will make me forgive you. I'm just in a good mood today. His words trailed off abruptly. As he stared at the familiar objects inside the trunk, his face turned completely ashen. Lin Qingmiao, what does this mean? When ending an engagement, It's only right to return all the gifts you gave me. I signaled for the guards to push forward the disheveled Lu Niao. And this is my real birthday gift to you. In the Northwest, there are witch doctors skilled in curing intractable diseases. One dose of their medicine can make even gods speak the truth. After my father was released, I had sent him an urgent letter, asking him to send one such witch doctor to the capital, and now, Lu Niao, having been given the medicine, was pointing at Lu Sui and laughing triumphantly. When we were children, I never wanted to save you. I was trying to push you off the cliff, but I tripped over a tree branch and accidentally saved you instead. I never had an intellectual disability either. My family fell on hard times, and I couldn't marry into a good family. Lucky for me, you're stupid and impulsive. Cousin, you believed everything I said, and even hit your fiancé for me. Ha ha ha, as if remembering something. Her expression turned ferocious. But why are you so cheap, Lu Sui? We're already no longer engaged. Why do you still come crawling back to her? What about me? What was all my hard work for? She pounced at Lu Sui, trying to strangle him. In her frenzy, she overturned tables and smashed wine pots. The sound of shattering glass jolted the stunned onlookers. The scene descended into chaos. What did you say? You were faking your disability. Lu Sui's eyes turned bloodshot. Lu Niao, how dare you fool me? He struck out, sending the woman clutching his neck flying. Lu Niao sobered up, finally realizing what had happened. She crawled over, sobbing uncontrollably, and grabbed the hem of his robe. No, I didn't say that. That wasn't me just now. Her eyes landed on me, who was watching the commotion with amusement, and she snarled, it's this lowly woman Lin Qingmiao. She gave me medicine. She framed me on purpose. Yes, I gave you medicine. But its only effect is to make people tell the truth. If you don't believe me, we can invite imperial physicians to examine you. Lu Niao, dare you? Her hand, clutching Lu Sui's robe, went limp. Lowly woman, you dared to deceive me. Don't be angry, there's more. I ordered my men to carry out the letters Lu Sui and I had exchanged over the years. During that time, he had lost a battle, and his resentment toward the capital was laid bare in his writing. Fortunately, I had kept them carefully. Young Marquis Lu's letters contained suspicious content of colluding with the enemy and betraying the country. His Majesty has issued an edict to strip you of your official position pending further investigation. The edict should arrive any moment now. Lu Sui, you will never set foot in the Northwest again, and this is my true birthday gift to you. I tore up the flimsy pieces of paper one by one. Along with them, I tore apart the sincere feelings I had cherished so carefully all these years. On the day you and I left the capital, Lu Sui chased after us frantically on horseback. He looked haggard, his cheeks sunken deeply. I had heard that he and Lu Niao had been quarreling fiercely these days, constant chaos and mutual accusations. Both of them had completely ruined their reputations in the capital. Meow, you can't leave. He stretched out his hand to me, pretending to be affectionate, his expression desperate. I've thought a lot these past few days. I was wrong, I can't live without you. Meow, we can reaffirm our engagement. I'll find a way to make up for my mistakes, but you can't abandon me, leaving me alone in the capital. By the end, his voice was trembling with tears. I turned my horse around gently. Lu Sui, who said I'm leaving you in the capital? You mean? His eyes lit up suddenly, filled with hope. Before I left, I recommended you to His Majesty. I told him that you're tired of the luxury of the capital, and that you've achieved military merits in the Northwest. Why not let you atone for your sins by joining the border army stationed in southern Xinjiang? Concubine Lu is about to give birth. His Majesty is naturally afraid that you and your father will cause trouble in the capital, so he agreed. He even assigned you to the harshest land, filled with poisonous miasma and mosquitoes. If you're lucky, you might be able to return in 3 to 5 years, I added thoughtfully. If you unfortunately die, don't worry. His Majesty will adopt an heir from your collateral branch to inherit the marquisate. Lu Sui swayed and fell off his horse. I rode past without looking back, the hooves of my horse kicking up clouds of dust. You leaned in and asked me, what if the young Marquis didn't die, and still managed to achieve great deeds in the southern borderlands? That would be a blessing for the people of the southern borderlands. I answered her earnestly, a person should do what they are capable of, and not be constrained by petty emotions. Just as if he has the talent to lead an army, He should defend the territory and protect the people. I will not deny those happy memories of the past simply because the ending with him was not beautiful. The breeze swept across the field, carrying away the dust of the old days. I walked forward, facing the morning sun, ignoring the pathetic begging, remorseful cries behind me.